Okay, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move further. Next is VxRail node selection. Now we know which cluster to choose based on the customer requirement, and selecting the VxRail node based on the cluster type. For example, standard or dynamic, whatever cluster we choose. So which are all the nodes we are going to select for your cluster. So now let's understand the node selection criteria. Because like when we choose the node, it depends on the workload requirement, performance, and cluster architecture, right? So these are the three things we need to take into consideration when you select VxRail node. So node selection criteria, workload type. Okay, when you say workload type, we need to understand this below options. General purpose virtualization, whereas you can go for E series, high performance workloads, especially database servers and all. You can go for P series, and storage is primary requirement. Like we need a better storage, so we can go for storage heavy workloads, S series, and GPU workloads. Like if you are going to work on AutoCAD 3D kind of stuffs for developing games and all, that time like you can go for this V series, which is NVIDIA GPU enabled. Okay, so these are some examples I've given. Okay, it doesn't mean that I have included all the options, like for selecting the node selection criteria as workload type. Just given some examples. So there are a lot of examples which is available. Okay, but some examples I'm given based on how to select, like nodes using the workload type. The next is node configuration. So once you selected the node, whether it is E series, P series, or S series, then you need to understand like how many nodes we need. Is it 3 node? If it is a dynamic cluster, we can go for 2 nodes. Okay. So VxRail is recommending, always start with 4+ nodes for better resilience. Okay, for better redundancy. Suppose if I'm going to do some, maintenance work in the cluster, that time if 4 is there, that will be good. Because why they're suggesting 4? So standard cluster minimum requirement is 3. Okay. So if I'm doing a maintenance work on one of the hosts, what will happen? We are just left with only 2 nodes, right? And for vSAN cluster, minimum node we need is at least 3, right? vSAN cluster.
Yeah.
So based on that condition, they're saying here, okay, keep at least 4 nodes for better resilience to do some management kind of task in the environment. Okay. Okay, and once you selected the nodes, for example, I selected E series in a cluster. You should not, like mix up with different series here. Suppose if I selected E series or P series for a cluster, go ahead with complete the same series for the entire cluster. Okay, so don't mix up with E, P, S and in the same cluster itself. That is not a recommended option. So this is a product from Dell EMC. So we need to follow their recommendation and best practices. Okay. We should not take decision on our own at any cost. Okay. So let me share an example configurations. So here is the example configuration for a VDI database, backup and archive, then AI, IML. Okay, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Like for VDI, you can go for E660 E series servers. For database, you can go for P series. And for backup, like I'm going to store some, like huge amount of data, which might be in terabytes. That time you can go for S series. S series especially for storage purpose. Then for artificial intelligence and machine learning, you can go for, like when it is going to use this GPU kind of stuffs. There you can go for V series, V670F. Okay. So here it is mentioned, like high IOPS for virtual desktops, low latency for OLTP, high capacity cost effective accelerated computing. Okay. So here, whatever be the requirement, okay, just follow the best practices, which is given by Dell EMC, and then select your host to meet the requirement. So initially cluster selection, then once you selected the cluster, so which are all the hosts we are going to place in that the host model we are going to select for the cluster node selection. So I hope now you got some idea about like how they are doing the node selection for the VxRail cluster.
This intensive, hands-on training program is designed to provide comprehensive knowledge and practical experience with VMware VxRail. The course focuses on the deployment, configuration, management, and troubleshooting of VxRail components, enabling participants to confidently build and operate a modern, integrated hyper-converged infrastructure. The training consists of 40 learning hours, and we offer two flexible options to suit your schedule: a 5-day fast track for those who want to complete the course quickly, or a 1-month regular track for a more paced approach. We also offer flexible timings based on individual availability to ensure the best learning experience. This training is delivered entirely online, so you can join from anywhere with ease. For any inquiries or to enroll, please contact us at 93619136611. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, SMS Tech Desk, for more tech tutorials, updates, and training content. We look forward to learning with you.